Your net worth to the world is usually determined by what remains after your bad habits are subtracted from your good ones. Benjamin Franklin. My friends, a good habit each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes, sticking with it. Persistence in my 62 years on the planet is one of the most lacking things human beings have. Whether it comes to your physical fitness, your spirituality, your ability to gain and garner and keep wealth, it is consistency more than anything else. When I was in the Marine Corps, I remember an older officer telling me, he said, all I want from my Marines is consistency. If you're going to be a bad Marine, always be a bad Marine. That way I can know what you're going to do and how you're going to screw up. If you're going to be a good Marine, always be a good Marine. Consistency, it is so key. And again, it guarantees results, either failure or success. And I'm sorry to my old friends that are here. You hear me pontificate sometimes, but I'm telling you, it really is the difference between being a winner and a loser. Just stick with the right things and it'll come true and through for you. Let's jump into these charts. We see stocks are up some for the day, bonds and gold down, Bitcoin up a little bit. Let's jump first into the S&P 500 as we look at the half-day chart. And again, we always focus on all three charts, all the charts, all the time. 2 days of some up movement. Yesterday it was up about 0.5%. Today up about 0.5%. And of course, I believe that's right with yesterday. Look at where we are on the 2-day. It is below. It's not even on it. It's below the weekly trend line. Again, remember the weekly trend line is what persists on all these charts. We do have the half-day building up, moving toward, but hasn't breached that weekly trend line yet. We look at the weekly chart. Look at the volume we already see. We're just 2 days in, and it looks like we're almost halfway to the average. So that bodes possibly well for us. Now, we had higher than average last week and the week before. We could see the market really trying to figure out which way it was going to go, and then it determined to drop. Now, has it already bottomed out? Don't know that it's done that. Again, with this volume surging, we shall wait, watch, and see just how things continue to move for the week. We see on the 2-day chart, this is just the first day of the latest 2-day candle. So 2 days of some up movement doesn't mean that the trend is turned around. So keep your eye on the prize. We are, of course, riding that down move. Now let's look at the NASDAQ 100, up even less than the S&P, but we do see 2 days of up movement there on the half-day chart. Below average volume. We see first day of the latest 2-day candle. Again, don't even have an up move on that one, just a little candle with a down move. Now we look at, let's zoom into the weekly and look at that candle. Yep, it is a down candle. Again, hasn't reached the low of last week, but again, decent volume, just 2 days in already. So we will pay close attention to how the market moves, particularly tomorrow as we get into that midweek. Oh, and by the way, special training for those of you who subscribe for free to chartingwealth.com. Just go there, sign up. You'll get our daily emails. I do have a special training. I hadn't put it out in a while. It's about stepping back midweek on Wednesday, looking at your weekly chart, seeing what's really happening, getting off the macro, the micro and looking at the macro. Important to do midweek. Listen to that. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe and get it. Let's look at bonds. Bonds down for the day, 0.49%. See where things peaked up in the morning and then moved back down in the afternoon below average volume on that half day. Also, first day of the latest 2-day candle. Doesn't look like it's quite halfway up. So one more day on that, and you can see the volume on the weekly chart is already approaching the average. Now, again, these last few weeks well above average. So we'll keep an eye on things, but we are sitting right there as far as the candle goes. It's still red, but it's sitting right there on that weekly trend line. So pay attention Bonds have been very good to us in this down move. What do we practice trade on the down move? Tango, Bravo, Foxtrot. That is just one of many. This is a single short by ProShares that, of course, goes up magically when bonds go down. We also have great trainings. I'll put that at the end of today's video for those of you who aren't subscribers. Again, would encourage you to subscribe. You could do that for free at chartingwealth.com. Doesn't cost you anything. We never spam or share that list. But I will put the training in there for you on the inverse funds so you understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about trading on down moves, practice trading on down moves. Remember, we're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We don't give you market advice. I want you to practice trade with us. It costs you nothing except your time, which is actually the most valuable thing you have. Now, let's move on to gold. Gold pulling back today. 0.55%. We can see where it popped up some in the morning, so lots of indecision there. And then down in the afternoon, still above the weekly trend line on both the half day and the 2-day. 2-day still green. When we look at where we are, we're right around where we've been for the last 3 weeks. We popped up a little higher last week. This week, not quite touching that high from last week yet, and a small candle. We'll continue to watch and see where gold goes, but look at how we're almost to the average volume just 2 days in. So lots of volume out there on a lot of these charts. Look at gold in the morning where it was looking for some price discovery, then moved down in the afternoon. Look at that volume. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things and see if gold has played its way out or is just digesting the prior gains and getting ready to go up. What about Bitcoin? Popping up, I wouldn't even call this popping up a little bit, 0.23%. Check it out. Not much on that half-day chart. And again, we do see where we've started this week off with a green candle, about where we were last week. Volume's nothing to write home about at all. We see it, of course, on the 2-day chart from last Wednesday, Thursday. But again, some there for the Friday, Monday, but slowing down a lot on the first day of this latest 2-day candle. That is where we are, my friends, as we get ready to move into Wednesday midweek. Again, take that training at the end of today's video. If you don't understand inverse funds, how to make money when markets crash, I want you to have that so you can add that to your repertoire so that you can actually practice trade when things aren't going so well. That's where we are. So appreciate you being with us. You're not a Patreon member and would love to have our training, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way 3-part series. You just have to sign up at any of the 3 levels and boom, you get it. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.